And we go back to Davos now in the World Economic Forum, holding its meeting there for this year. Springtime, a little bit different. An IMF official saying this morning more forecast downgrades are possible to growth, but still does not anticipate a global recession. Those comments coming as developing countries seek to ramp up investments and financial infrastructure. For more, our editor-in-chief, Andy Serwer, is back with us with the guest. Andy.
Thanks, Julie. I'm here with Makhtar Diop, who is the managing director of the International Finance Corporation, which is the part of the World Bank that encourages private sector investment in developing countries. Makhtar, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Andy. Thank you so much.
So tell us a little bit about what you do, the work you do, and what the trends are that you're seeing in developing countries, given the economic headwinds that we're seeing right now.
IFC is an institution which is lending $32 billion a year, roughly. One third of it going to climate change activities, and which is a premier institution for emerging economies and developing countries. What we're doing is we are bringing private sector to look at opportunities in developing countries. We de-risk that investment. It means that we bring them guarantee, we bring them additional resources to make this investment much more attractive. And at the end of the day, we are an institution which is interested in development. So all this investment from the private sector is to improve people's life and to make sure that a country are going in a sustainable but also inclusive way.
Now, when you're talking about the private sector, are you talking about U.S. banks, hedge funds, private equity, or international banks? What specifically do you mean by private investment?
All of this. Mm-hmm. We are issuing bonds. We are helping companies. For instance, I just came back from Thailand, where we are financing a blue bond for Indorama, which is an Indian company. But what we are doing is trying to really help them blue their production and ensure that the marine debris that we are seeing are disappearing from the water. But we are doing other things. We are also financing women. We know that women have less access to financing in developing countries than men. So all the companies which are led by women receive our financing. We are financing also the digital economy. We ensure that the digital gap that exists between developing country and less developed country is narrowing. For instance, last year we lent close to $1 billion in the digital space, mainly in Africa. So this is the kind of things that we are doing, and we are developing a methodology which ensures that we can measure the impact that we are having on people's life.
And these investments provide a real ROI for these private sector investors?
Absolutely. Our value proposition is to show that you can invest in poor country. In country will look fragile. With the right instrument and the right support, you can make a lot of money. And for all investors, we are following a process which is very similar to the process followed by any investment bank. We look at the RAROC, we look at the return of investment, but we ensure that also we do it in countries where naturally a traditional bank would have not looked at. And in sector where it's more difficult and riskier, adaptation, energy transition, all these kind of activities are essential for us.
Are there any ways for retail investors to participate in these types of investments?
Absolutely. We are throwing our net, casting our net very, very wide. We are bringing companies, we are bringing private investors, we are institutional investors, we are bringing banks, we are bringing all people. And one of the things that is a characteristic of IFC is for each dollar that we put, we are mobilizing a dollar. It means that we are attracting $1 of the capital market and investors.
You have this great global view, Makhtar, of the global economy. What are you seeing right now? Are you seeing any signs of recession or slowdown? Or are there some stronger areas, weaker areas? What's your outlook?
Yeah, we have seen growth moving from 6.1 to 3.6, and we have seen a situation which is very uncertain. The level of uncertainties that we are seeing today is quite large due to shocks which are large, big shocks, but also multiple shocks. You have the pandemic, you have the food crisis, you have the oil crisis, you have the geopolitics, you have the war. All these at the same time, and it's something that we haven't seen recently in the world. So what the private sector needs is really to de-risk, to make sure that we bring them solutions to guarantee their investment, to help them with their first losses. And this is the kind of things that we are doing to be able to continue. But the good news is that while all this is happening, the appetite of investors to those countries, even if they are slowed down, is rebounding now. It's rebounding because you are bringing some new instruments which gives them the comfort that they can have the RAROCs that they want in spite of the risks that we are seeing.
And final question, Makhtar. We've seen a trend towards nationalism and anti-globalism. And I wonder if you have any perspective on that. Or, in other words, is globalism dead, or is it taking a pause, or is it ready to come back?
We are facing challenging times, but our institution is believe, and our president have said it recently in an op-ed, that there is no solution out of global trade. Trade has brought so much good, made so much, helped so many people moving out of poverty, that we need to continue trading. That's why, for us, we have an opportunity now with the food crisis to push countries to trade more, to remove all the barriers that we are starting seeing coming from countries which were exporters, but also to increase the production of food in countries which were not traditionally food exporters, and to help them with their logistics so that they can be part of the trade, the world trade. So this is something that we believe is important, and that will be the solution for us to move from this very uncertain time.
Makhtar Diop, economist, managing director of the IFC of the World Bank. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so very much.
Back to you guys in New York.
All right, looking great down there, Andy.